I think it's more like a demotion.
Oh, okay.
Hey, don't say anything bad about YouTube until we get done using them.
Yeah, okay, good point.
Good point. Yeah.
Very good point. Are we ready, Steve?
Just making sure it's coming up. It says it is. All right. It's working.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming to tonight's meeting for March 3rd, 2021. It's about 6:30 p.m. So how about a call to order there, Alan?
Okay, Ghost,
Yes, here.
Cooper,
Yes, here.
Martin,
Here.
three in attendance.
Thank you. And how about the minutes from our last meeting? Has anyone
Motion to
reviewed?
approve.
I'll second.
Okay.
Oh,
we
wow,
had a
you guys are going faster than I am.
Yeah, go ahead, Alan.
Martin. Okay, Martin,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
and Ghost.
Yes.
3 yeas. Thank you.
Okay, we looks like we have some visitors here tonight. I see Amy and Stephanie. I was going to try Amy's last name, but
It's
I'll let her-
Hegley.
I'm sorry, what was it?
It's Hegley.
Hegley. Okay. Amy Hegley and Stephanie Huffman, and they're both from looks like United Methodist Church.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for coming, and I think you want to talk about your playground project, so we'll let you go ahead and have the floor.
Okay, thank you. I can't hear you, Stephanie.
You're muted.
I'll start us out. We just wanted to take a few moments of your time tonight and let you know what we've been working on for our community. We know you guys get so many requests and inquiries over when is Sunbury getting a Y, when are we going to have a playground, for the entire community. And so we are here to tell you that we are hoping to provide that, at least part of that, not the why, but we have been working for about a year and a half, almost 2 years on getting a general space that's for the entire community. It'll be at Sunbury United Methodist Church. We have a playground now in a shelter house that gets its use, but it's not meant for commercial purposes. So we're going to change that. And we have a lot of the equipment is already ordered. We have a ninja course coming to tailor to older kids and adults, hoping, to just get everybody in one spot that everybody can call their own. And we're just all about community. Our church is all about community. And with the explosion of growth that we've had, we just really feel like we need some place like this to bring us all together. And so our options are wide open at this point. We can continue to add over the years. We have oodles of space. There's groups from town that are already interested. Sandlot camps and the library are interested in having programs there. We can really open it up to everybody. So we're just really excited about it. And we are set to build mid-April to mid-May, probably. They're going to start excavating soon, within the next couple weeks. We are still needing to raise money. We would love to get any ideas from you, things that have worked well for you guys in the past. We encourage the Kroger rewards and starting this week, we'll have a text to give number. So we can kind of open that. We haven't asked for donations other than the Kroger rewards. This has all been funded by our church thus far. So we're hoping our community, if they want this as bad as we think they do, that maybe they can help us. We have another major piece of equipment to order. So we're just hoping to get the word out and let you guys know all about it so you can let everyone else know.
And what
Stephanie,
is, I'm sorry, what is the name under on the Kroger's rewards thing? Is it just the church or is there a particular?
right,
something?
it's Sunbury United Methodist Church, but it's called Recreation Connection. So we're also looking for a new name for this wonderful place. If anyone comes up with a fantastic idea.
That sounds like a pretty good name to me.
Yeah.
It is, but we want it to be very easy for people to say and to know that exactly what it is.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of posts there on social media, on Facebook, and on the local Sunbury pages, and it's very exciting. I was actually pretty surprised when I first heard about it, pleasantly surprised, and
Yeah.
was really looking forward to seeing that being built, and so I'm glad you're here. Could I ask you how much the cost is and how much money you've raised and what's left and that sort of thing?
Sure. We were told to dream big, and so we sure did. And we've dialed that back a bit. Right now, with the equipment we have about $170,000 to get the equipment that we have ordered in the ground with mulch, drainage, all of that. We have 2 pieces of equipment left. We're hoping for another 50 to 70,000. We may have a little over 200 that we have currently total in our account. So we're almost there. We are getting very close, and there's things that can be put on the back burner for now, but we're dwindling in our time. We are set for mid-April. We may delay 1 month. We're trying to get this one last major piece of equipment ordered so we can install it all at the same time. And I guess I should mention we're doing a community build, which helps save us money on install, but it allows the community to come help us actually resurrect this. So
So a
we will be looking. Yeah.
large part of your labor cost that is volunteer labor.
Right.
Okay. So if I hear you correctly, it sounds like you've budgeted around, or the cost is somewhere in the neighborhood of 220 or 50,000. Is that correct?
Our goal was 250,000, and we're about at 200 right now.
Okay, and you're still actively fundraising in the parish itself?
We are trying. It's, COVID really threw a wrench in our plans. We started off strong with a lot of great fundraisers, and that's really when everything started. So we haven't been able to fundraise like we hope to. We've been very limited. This is all, for the most part, this is all donations from our congregation, but there's other things going on in our church too that are important that people are giving to. So, we're just, but we keep going, and we know it'll happen. It's just a matter of when. So.
Yeah. What kind of feedback have you gotten overall from your parishioners and the community in general? Can you speak to some of that?
I mean, the community has been great. I posted on the social media, at least on Facebook. I'm a Facebook girl. People have been overwhelmingly supportive. They're so excited. We really strived for unique pieces of equipment. So I believe we are the first ones in Ohio to get this Ninja course. we looked for other pieces that playgrounds close to us did not have. I mean, there's a lot of similar items, but we're hoping to install a zip line. That might be a little further down the road, but I mean, we have ideas of let's put a hockey rink in, an ice skating rink, new basketball courts. We have the space, and we want to have a sidewalk that encompasses the whole playground area, and that will hopefully connect to the paths that will eventually connect the neighborhoods and the trails. So there's just a lot of options. We want to do garden areas, and we've asked the Boy Scouts, to come help. So there's just so many people we can involve and so many different programs we can have. I think it really could be an epicenter to our community.
Yeah, you mentioned the connections to the path. I'm glad you brought that up. I don't know if you're aware or not, but we do have a tentative plan we're trying to pursue. It's going to be a while, but we want to extend the Fallen Heroes Trail there to go, across the street right there at the cemetery
Right.
area, right near your entrance of the parking lot there, and then make a nice, wide 6 or 8 or maybe 10-foot wide asphalt path on the inside part of the current sidewalk, and run it parallel
Mm-hmm.
up to Route 3. That's something that obviously you could connect to eventually, but we're still having discussions with ODOT on that and getting access and rights of way, and they're talking about maybe giving us a permit, but permits are only open generally for 6 months, so you have to build it within 6 months, so we have to have the money ready to go. But so we're looking at some options there, but I don't think that part of the trail is probably going to get built for at least another year minimum.
Okay.
But we would certainly love to put it there for you, to help you and your connection, obviously.
Right. Stephanie, is there anything I forgot? I did all the talking.
You did a good job. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
You did a good job. I feel like you covered everything. I'm glad you added that we tried to get unique pieces, and the sidewalk. We just thought that'd be another nice touch for people people with strollers, or just anybody who, wanted to be able to have some exercise. We're hoping to be able to put a bathroom facility out there as well. We know that that's really helpful. And yeah, I mean, Amy did a good job talking about it. In terms of the feedback, I think everybody that we've come into contact with has been incredibly excited. I do think it seems like the people that I run in circles with that have children or grandchildren would love a place that they can go. There's some really cool parks and surrounding towns and villages, but nothing huge right here in Sunbury. So I think people are dying for something like this, that they can take their younger kids or whole families or just anybody. So the feedback has all been very positive and lots of excitement.
That's great. Glad to hear that.
We just
There will be
wanna-
picnic areas around it as well.
Yes. Picnic benches. We hope to have shade structures and relaxing furniture. And we just want to stress that this is for all ages. We hope people will come use the walking paths and just sit and relax. Yes, there's a playground there, but we want to have flower beds and different gardening areas. And, we have woods on our property that it would be just a really nice place to spend time. And so we want to make sure that, and we have the shelter house there, which is full of picnic tables as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a great piece of land, very visible too.
Mhm.
Right.
Perfect location for that. But part of that
Planting.
250,000, what part of that budget amount is for your path or sidewalk? Is that part of that yet? That amount? The initial
So
phase?
Yes, it was included in that. The sidewalk that we have, I believe it's a 5-foot sidewalk just around the upper playground level, and it ran about 24,000.
And that was a regular standard cement type?
Yes.
Okay. And then the other phases after that, you'd be looking at the other trails and things like that.
I'm not sure that we do want to extend, probably put the path in from the circular path that goes around the playground to connect up to the sidewalk, but that's not in our scope of the project, so I'm not thinking about that yet.
Okay. Have you pretty much exhausted all your discussions with local business partners, or do you have any more plans with those folks?
So again, with COVID, we felt very tentative about asking, especially small businesses, for anything. We have not been. It is on our to-do list. We are also trying to find a way to be able to recognize the businesses if they were to make a donation. Right now, we are not allowed to, say, have plaques on a bench or
I was
in
kind of
front of a
going in
tree.
that direction. Yeah.
Right. So it's really hard. And again, like you know, we have to get everything approved through certain committees. So we are working on that, and we just hated to ask businesses until we had that part of the puzzle figured out, and until we really knew this was happening. You know, like till we could say this is going in April, you know, until equipment was ordered. So, and that has just been in the past 2 months. So we do
Yeah.
plan to, but there's a few things we need to work out.
It's also been my experience too with these projects that when you talk to those business partners, once they see something actually in the ground, like the first phase in the ground, then they can get all excited about it and they jump on board for you and want to make some contributions.
Exactly.
So, okay. The Kroger rewards, back to that, how much money can you actually bring in with that? Is that, how helpful has that been?
I mean, it's a good little chunk of change. We raised, I believe it was from the end of November through the end of January, we had almost $800, which I'm happy to get anything. It's a bonus for us. So,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
people feel like they're helping. So I can't remember the exact total. I'd say we probably have $1,500 from Kroger Rewards. But it's just it's a nice way people can help without taking anything away from them. I mean, especially with COVID, we just tried to be very sensitive to everyone's situation. So
Yeah, that's understandable. Okay. Cindy, Dave, did you have any other questions?
No, I like what I hear. I just, this sounds good.
It's
So,
exciting.
I appreciate your efforts.
Yeah, I like that. It seems like you're really considering all ages too. I think
Yeah.
that's going to be appreciated because those that have young kids now, you really have a few places you can go. All the elementary schools are open, and there's J.R. Smith, and there's the Catholic Church is public. So we're covered for the little ones, but it's once they get to be like the tween and then the high school age, there's nothing in Sunbury for them to do. So I like that ninja course and other aspects are being considered for the young adults and the older kids.
Right. And sometimes you have that mix too in your own household. You know, there's times where it's like, well, my little one would still be interested in this, but my older child's going to be bored. So this way you
Yeah.
can go to one place and have all your kids occupied. So,
Right.
and you too.
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to think off the top of my head how the village can help. And I know one thing we can do for sure is, with the social media, maybe we can get Kathy to keep an eye out on the pages there. When they see something posted for your project, she can share it from our site.
That would be wonderful.
Maybe-
June deal would be ideal in
Yeah.
getting the information out.
Maybe, I don't know if it's something that legally we can could add a link to on our site or not, Alan. I don't know. That's,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know why we couldn't, but we'll make sure that we can. I don't know that we have a lot of other links, but we've never really had a community asset like that is open to the community. So I think it's a great idea. Schools would probably be another good resource as well, but
yeah.
my hat goes off to you because we had difficulty putting up a $10,000 grant for a fitness course at GRE, and we were pulling our hair out trying to do that. So $250,000 for all the things you've got planned is very ambitious.
Yeah, in fact, you brought up a good point there. Made me think about the risk exposures and talking to the insurance company. And, I'm an insurance person myself, and I probably don't have to tell you this, but I hope you guys have covered your base there and talked to your agent to make sure, because when the insurance companies start hearing about zip lines and things like that, the pricing for your premiums can go through the roof.
Right. I believe that we are covered. We made sure that was a question up front, and everything we've been told says that we are. So
Good deal.
thank you.
Okay. In terms of anything else on our end, I mean, I'm thinking about maybe helping you from a parks perspective or village perspective for funding or whatever, but just now kind of thinking about it. I don't know I know in our budget, we don't have a whole lot. We usually have enough there to cover maintenance every year.
We also would run into some legal issues because the village can't spend money for fixtures on other people's property.
No, but if there was a way though to coordinate, if we were going to have our walkway wind up crossing 3 somewhere in proximity to the Inn at Walnut Trail, and crossing the 36 or 37 like we had anticipated, if we could at least coordinate where our path would be vis-a-vis where yours are, where your facilities are, that would be ideal.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then if that comes to be, and we'd have signage and, all that kind of stuff, we could kind of co-promote each other. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're happy to help you in any way we can. Just reach out to any of us. And,
Thank you very much.
if you have a question or a request or anything, love to try and help you.
We meet the first Wednesday of every month, so feel free to, and hopefully in the next month or two at the most, our meetings are going to be televised, not on YouTube or Facebook, but will be on our website. So we'll be streaming off our website, which will be I don't know, hopefully it'll be easier to remember to go into our website and see our meetings rather than Facebook or YouTube.
Well, we thank you for letting us visit you all tonight. And we really just wanted to get the word out and get everybody excited for this project. And in the next month or two, you'll probably see equipment going in the ground. So
Well, we appreciate your efforts. We really do.
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, don't hesitate to reach out to any of us.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
But thank you.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Good
night.
Okay. I guess we'll move over to old business. Cindy or Dave, did you have anything?
Nope.
Alan, anything?
I can give you a couple updates. One, I heard from Zach Dowley over at the county, and he was ironically very eager for us to pass our legislation 1 or 2 meetings ago for the grant for our southern walkway on at the library, the southern part of that.
Yes.
fallen heroes path. And we sent it back almost immediately. We might have been a day in there, but within 48 hours of our meeting, we'd sent all the stuff to him. And as of last week, I hadn't heard back from him confirming that, or because he was going to take it right to the commissioners. So I inquired to him, and he got back to me fairly quickly and said that there was a delay of some kind. I don't think a problem per se, but it isn't going to the commissioners until March the 7th. So it's going to be probably beginning of next week before we get confirmation of that. But and then that's when Dave Parkinson can start to rock and roll with bidding and all that kind of stuff. So
March 7th is a Sunday.
Okay, well, that's what he told me. I don't know. I was thinking March 8th was a Monday, so that does seem like an odd day.
And so there's nothing left from a parks or a council perspective for us to do, I don't think, is there?
No, except we need to wait until we know for a fact that the county has approving it. But even if they didn't, we know we got the money from Preservation Parks. So in that sense, we could probably get started anyway. But having said that, obviously Dave Parkinson can provide a better update than me, but they've been moving forward on the design and all that kind of thing. And so I don't think they'd be much ready to start bidding until, after next week anyway. So I think it's okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I just wanted to update you on that because, you guys are always asking, as you should, where we at. Well, finally, we're waiting on them instead of them waiting on us. So.
Okay. I do have an update for you guys. I just got wind of this yesterday. And this involves the application for the rec trail grant out there at the reservoir that we were going to do for the gravel path. I talked to Dave Parkinson yesterday, and then Mr. Mayor today. And it's my understanding from talking to those guys that they want to forego the submission of this rec trail grant and instead pursue the larger Nature Works grant for June the 1st. And the reasons being, number one, apparently they've had some negative feedback from ODNR, who awards the grant, regarding the likelihood of us being awarded anything. And I guess the chances of us being awarded something for that particular kind of trailer on that reservoir was not very good. So they started talking, and they looked into the reservoir project. Let's see, what was it called? Alan, you might want to help me with this, but I wrote a note down here. Hold on. The reservoir outlet piping project from about a year ago that we approved and allocated about $200,000 towards. Apparently, a large part of that amount of money is no longer needed, per their discussions with the contractor Facemeyer. And so Facemeyer has given them the indication that he can install a 6-foot wide asphalt path, around the perimeter of the reservoir using the leftover funds that are already been allocated there in that $200,000 from over a year ago. So what that means is, as I understand it, since this asphalt trail would be installed and paid for that way with money allocated over a year ago for the reservoir project, it appears then we could use the $55,000 that council recently allocated for the rec trail grant to now be used as our share of the potential total cost to install a fishing pier and a small gravel parking lot out there at the reservoir. And that's what we would be proposing or wanting to do for the Nature Works application grant for June 1st. Apparently, Dave Parkinson and Mr. Mayor think that, and they've had some preliminary discussions, I guess, with ODNR, or the state, I should say. It's a state funded grant, and that we would have a really good shot, or a much better shot, at being approved for a large amount of money if we want to do a small parking lot and a fishing pier, maybe some handicap access going up the hill to get to the reservoir as well.
Will it take any legislation to undo what we've already done?
Yeah, good question. It's my understanding that sometime in April, we in council, we would have to make a recommendation to amend that earlier motion for the March 15th grant to be shifted, those monies to be shifted over to cover the potential out of pocket for the Nature Works grant. And that's what we can do. We can do that in April.
Okay.
So it's not as, there's no big rush to do that now because the application isn't due until June 1st. According to Mr. Parkinson, we can talk about in council and pursue the change of the motion in April.
Is a 6-foot wide path enough of a path for two bicycles passing each other going opposite directions?
No.
Probably not.
Because that would be a concern if we're only going to put a 6-foot wide path up there.
Yeah.
I've been told you can only get a 6-foot wide path there and have the safety of not going into the, either one of the two bodies of water and whatever. There's restrictions on the width that path can be. So we'll obviously need to fine tune that a little bit, but my understanding was 6 was about all they felt comfortable with.
So we would make it a no bicycles trail?
No, I don't know. Maybe you make it a one-way trail. I don't know. You have to figure that out, but
Yeah.
there's limited width around the perimeter of those two bodies of water, and still have safety.
I've been around them many times.
Well, without putting a rail or anything like that around it, guard of some kind, 6 feet was what they were comfortable with.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a good question. Maybe you do the bike, the bike going one way and pedestrians the other, but maybe there's enough room for that. We'll have to ask. We could ask Mr. Parkinson that tonight. But
okay.
I think maybe it might have been contemplated bikeway to it as a destination, but when you get there, you probably walk or fish or do things other than ride your bike around it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That needs to be figured out, and that may have well been some of the complications with ODNR as Dave tried to see what kind of grading our project would get, and it was not grading very high in a couple of areas.
I would love the idea of being able to walk it without bicycles coming toward me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of room to negotiate.
Right.
Do you know, Alan, and Tommy mentioned this, but he didn't really give me a definitive answer. He said, tonight we might, as the Parks Committee, and I can ask this or mention this in the report, do we need to give you think we need to give some direction to Mr. Parkinson tonight in the reporting period and tell him to no longer pursue the rec trail grant and shift his focus for the Nature Works grant?
I don't think so. It may not hurt to clarify that, but as I was told, Dave really came to Tommy and I and saying that he's not going. And I think it was one of the reasons why he didn't pursue the town meeting or the open meeting or the Facebook survey and things like that, because I think he had kind of known early on that the writing on the wall was not looking great, and so he kind of held off on that. And he told me a while back, maybe a week ago, that whatever monies he spent now has been kind of generic, and that it's still it still has to go through those federal guidelines and getting all the endorsements from different state organizations and the like, and other jurisdictions. So none of that he has not used any of our resources for that, so that was still pretty much open. And I think he probably felt, I think he's concerned that he didn't want us to spend good money after bad. So I believe we're going to have I don't think we're going to have to pay much more, if any more, for this new grant.
Yeah, he did mention to me, Mr. Parkinson did, that the 5,000 that was allocated for them to prepare it can be basically shifted over to prepare the June 1 Nature Works.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll just
So
bring this up.
it is kind of, at first I thought it was disappointing, but I mean, if we can take those lemons and make lemonade and utilize the savings, because the reality with the bid for the drainage work at the reservoirs was that if we couldn't find an alternative project or thing for Facemeyer to do, he was out some monies and things for a significant project that he bid. And so we certainly want to avoid litigation or, paying out penalties or anything like that. So I think they worked out a very good compromise where he's going to continue to do work for us, and we'll get value out of those monies and put it towards a project we were going to do anyway. So I think it's a win-win.
Yeah, I think it's a blessing in disguise, actually.
Yeah, I think so.
We're actually going to end up, I think, if this all goes right and we get awarded some money there, we'll at least get the asphalt trail and be able to use money that the village was already going to use before.
Yeah.
And then we can use.
Was there any reference to whether or not that would also include crossing the center strip?
Do you know, Alan?
So I'm not sure what the center strip is.
In between
the two reservoirs.
Well, sure. The two circles would kind of have that anyway.
In a Parks meeting a couple months ago, and maybe you weren't at that meeting, but they were talking about just doing the big oval, and it was going to cost too much to include the center.
Yeah, that's correct.
If we're going a different route would be needed, but included.
I believe if they're going to do asphalt, I think the value of asphalt is it now is handicapped accessible versus the gravel, to me, was going to be kind of a dicey kind of surface anyway. So I would think you'd almost have to compel them to do that center strip.
I agree with that, but I know we had that conversation a couple months ago.
Okay. Well, like I said, that was contemplating all gravel, which wasn't going to be accessible. And I think that was some of the issues that Mr. Parkinson ran up against when he talked to the ODNR folks.
Okay.
Okay. So I think what I'll just do in the report is just keep it simple. And then if Dave P. or Mr. Mayor feel like it's necessary to add anything at this time, they can. But I think what I may just say is, and Alan, you can tell me if you think differently, but we're having some discussions about not pursuing the rec trail grant, and it appears we might have a better shot at the Nature Works grant. More to come in April at the April meeting.
I sure think it's appropriate for Dave to speak on that as well, but I don't think it would hurt at this juncture, because I know there were a number of people, even on our staff, June was saying, hey, listen, if you're going to do that town meeting or survey or whatever, time's a wasting, and here we are in March and it's due March 15th. So I think we need to be very upfront about it, that we're not going to pursue that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if you guys are in agreement, I'll just mention that we talked about it in Parks, and we're in agreement with Dave P. and Mr. Mayor.
I'm in agreement with that.
Okay. All right. Very good. That's all I had. Any other new business to talk about?
The only thing I didn't even have this on my list, but it just made me think of it, that more and more projects that we deal with are very intensive or very, we're relying heavily on our engineer, Dave Parkinson. Likewise, there's a lot of things and services that are requiring their time. And if we continue to have these dual meetings or joint meetings simultaneously. It just seems that one of the two groups is going to get the short shrift. I don't know if we want to consider, two 45-minute meetings, one at say 5:30 to 6:15, one 6:15 to 7 on the same night, have it on a different night, or maybe in fairness to everybody, say, even months or services months and odd months or parks months. But it just seems to me not very efficient to not have a key person here for these meetings in Dave Parkinson. So I don't know how you feel about it, if you have to have a meeting at 6:30 on the first meeting, but it seems to be somewhat problematic in sharing.
I'm retired, so it doesn't matter to me at all. You tell me when to be there, I'll be there.
It seems like oftentimes too, our meetings tend to be longer when Dave's here because we can get more discussion and but we could probably hone it down to even 45 minutes and be pretty efficient in what we're talking about. And accomplish something.
Yeah, does Dave P charge us for attending these committee meetings, Alan?
I'm not sure. I know council meetings are included in the retainer. I'm not sure about these per se. I know the prep work he'll charge us for if he does things in advance, or prepares things or goes out and does a sketch or something. But I don't know if attending the meeting is charging us.
Okay. Well, I'll make a point to have a discussion with Tommy and Dave P at least a few days before the meetings.
Right. Well, and if you don't think it's a problem, then fine. I'm just kind of pointing out that it just doesn't seem like we're nearly as efficient or get as much accomplished when he's doing two different things.
Yeah.
I know he's expressed that frustration with me as well, that he can't be two places at once, and he's right.
I was just going to mention he probably would appreciate knowing when to show up at each one as well.
Yep, absolutely. The other thing I'll just quickly mention. I was going to mention it tonight in my report that we received a notice from the Master Gardener Group, and that they are able to provide their services to assist organizations in plantings and things of that nature. And what came to mind for me was Martindale parking lot with those urns and everything that, we're going to, and even with our flower baskets downtown, we spend a good amount of money on those and put some flowers around the gazebo on the one on that corner of the park where we're across from Town Hall or across from the municipal building. If this group would be willing to do something like that, we could provide the materials and they could provide the innovation and creativity and what have you and maybe even some of the manpower to be able to do that. So I just throw that out there. If you want me to contact them, I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, please do. Let's make a point and do that and copy me in.
Okay.
And I'm a landscape and flower lover, so copy me in and I'll be happy to follow up with that group.
Okay. I know Joe St. John had talked to a woman from the Master Gardeners a couple of years ago, and it just never quite materialized, but that was before the Martindale parking lot / park. And now we've got some more areas that are going to be very visible and would really, I think, benefit us to spiff them up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. That's a big show corner, and anything we can do.
It really is.
Yeah. Okay. Motion for adjournment.
Here a second.
Motion to adjourn.
It's taking me too long to unmute, but I'll second.
Well, I saw you reaching for the button, and so that's why I didn't say anything.
My thumbs were slipping around.
Okay, yeah. Moved and seconded. Martin?
Yes.
Cooper?
Yes.
Ghost?
Yes.
Okay, adjourn 7:14. Thank you.
And are we staying on this one, or are we going to
Yes,
theirs for the
this
council
one.
meeting?